Hey guys, I'm Sarah. Welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year. I know I kind of went missing in December. I took a abrupt hiatus. I didn't know I needed one, but it was really helpful. So yeah, but now I am back and I thought we would talk over reading goals, like the ones I did for 2023, plus what I'm going to do for 2024. So yeah, let's just jump right into that. And well, there's not much to say about my 2023 goals. Well, let's see. Let's look at it. Oh, in a recap of my 2023 goals, I set a goal originally to read 100 books, my Goodreads reading challenge, 100 books. I actually surpassed this. I read over 200 books last year. So I'll put the number up on the screen. I'm pre-filming this, so I don't know how many books I'm going to end up having read by the end of this year, but yeah, the number will be somewhere up here. But yeah, so I surpassed that. I also set a goal to reread one book a month. I don't actually know if I did this. I think it varied. I think sometimes I reread more in some months than others. So I reread a lot, so which was kind of my main goal. So yeah, accomplished, I guess. And read at least one ebook a month. I think I kept up with this one fairly decently. There might have been 1 or 2 months where, again, like the rereading, I may have read more ebooks than others. Ebooks are really hard, or at least were really hard for me to read. They still kind of are because I don't reach for them enough, but mainly because I was originally reading them all on my phone, so then I constantly was looking at my phone screen, and that the way my eyes are, that doesn't always really work. And since I do so many other things on a computer screen, that doesn't always work. So, but my family got me a Kindle for my birthday last year, so that actually is more like reading a book, amazingly enough. So I've been actually wanting to read more ebooks now instead of just being like, I don't really feel like it. So that has been helpful. But yeah, for the majority of last year, I was reading on the phone. So, but I think I kept up fairly decently with that. So yeah, beyond that, I had just a bunch of specific books I wanted to read, like titles, and stuff like that, series I wanted to try, things I wanted to reread. I'm not gonna go through everything because that would take forever. But that was mildly successful, but mildly not. I did read some of the books. I ended up DNFing a few of them. I ended up rereading a lot of my older, like, childhood, younger me favorite books, or at least favorite books, and I ended up purging a lot of those or keeping them, and it was really interesting that I went through that phase. But that was helpful though, because it did kind of decrease my book collection and help me narrow it down, because I'm trying to narrow it down to just books I absolutely love, and would like want to reread and stuff like that. So that's why I'm keeping them. So yeah, that did help. It wasn't necessarily all the books I wanted to reread, but I did get to quite a few of them that were on this list and were not on this list. Some of the manga I didn't do so well at, mainly because the 2 series I did try to read, I ended up DNFing both of them. That wasn't helpful. One of them just wasn't for me. And well, one of them was Haikyuu. That just ended up not being for me. Apparently, I just don't like sports stories written down. I prefer them more like as a movie or TV series, which is kind of weird. But did discover that about myself. Also, the other manga series I tried was Fairy Tail, which I finished the first volume I tried. It sounds like a really neat premise, but there was just too much like kind of like suggestive type comments and stuff like that, where I was just kind of like, okay, I really don't want to read this. I've heard the anime has less of that, so I might still try that at some point, but I don't know at this point. The only other one on my list that I was going to try was Demon Slayer. I did start it, but I haven't continued it because I decided to continue the different series that was not on my list instead, and kind of just focus on one at a time. So I will still be continuing that one though. So there is that. For the specific new books, I ended up crossing off a bunch of them because I just either got them from the library and looked at them and tried to read them and just decided they weren't for me, or I just was like, yeah, I'm not really interested anymore. I did read, let's see, I tried one series. That one just ended up not being for me. That was the Timeless Fairy Tale series by Cam Shia. Yeah, it's just fairy tale retellings, and it just wasn't for me. They're good books, just not for me. Well, except for the first one. There's arguments against the very first one. I would not call the very first book good, but you know, that's just my opinion. I did try Twilight. That was interesting. um, it was unique, but now I know what Twilight is about, and I'm not continuing the series, but it was interesting. I did it as just more of a test, as not really a test, but as more of a, because I wanted to know type of thing, and now I know, and it was unique. I ended up loving two of the books I read, which was the Becoming Beauty trilogy by Brittany Fitcher. I really love that series. It's the first three books in the her Classical Kingdom series, which is like fairy tale retellings. So I really want to continue that series. I also read Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I really like that book. I still haven't continued the series. There's going to be a theme here with this. Yeah, I'll have another video about all the series I have not completed yet. This could be extremely telling about my reading habits, but I'll have another video about that later on. And I tried My Lady Jane by 3 different authors. They're fairly popular for YA. I was bored though. I think I got through like the first 2 or 3 chapters, but I was so bored, so I quit. But beyond that, all the other books on this list, I either didn't read or I decided I didn't want to read them. So, sort of, I guess, okay. Yeah, and the specific ebooks, yeah. I ended up not really liking any of the ones I read. And the other ones on the list I didn't get to, so it was kind of mixed results on that too. So anyways, yeah, those were last year's reading goals. I did sort of well on some things, sort of not so well on other things. So I guess that's average. So I guess I did averagely well. I don't know. So anyways, for my 2024 reading goals, well, actually, wind back to 2023 real quick. I'm just going to throw in, because I'm going to share it at the end, my writing goals. I did not share any of my writing goals for 2023. Well, let's just say I didn't accomplish any of them. I think I sort of accomplished 2 of them. But, you know, in retrospect, that's okay. Because I learned other things about my writing habits and just what I need to not put pressure on myself to do. And yeah, I think in a way my failed goals in my writing actually turned out to be a blessing in disguise, which sounds really weird, and I am disappointed I didn't finish the few books I was going to do. But I also, when I looked at my list, I realized I had way too much on there. For the way I write and the way I do things, that would have been too much. It wouldn't have worked anyways. So even if I had accomplished 1 or 2 of the goals, it just wouldn't have worked. So, yeah. But yeah, for 2024, for my writing goals, I have set more reasonable goals for myself. So, but yeah, I'll get to that. First, we're going to do the 2024 reading goals. And again, for my Goodreads challenge, I'm going to set it at 100 books. I just do this because I can. I generally read more than that anyways. I also include DNFs and stuff like that, because if I took the time enough to read enough of the book to be I'm done with it, I'm including it. Now, if I just flip through the book and realized from looking at the words and stuff, that looking at some of the pages and reading a little bit of it, that it's not going to be for me, I don't include those. If I put enough time into it where I read at least a few chapters, I still include it. That's just what I do. You know, take it or leave it, how you will. So yeah, I will be setting that for 100 books. I also want to reread 5 books. 5 certain type books, at least 5 books this year, but also just reread more in general. This is a very loose goal. For my rereading list, I'll get to that in a minute. I only have 2 specific things that I want to reread, because I'm just leaving it open to whatever. But I also have a stack of books that I'm haven't read for a while, and I want to reread to see if I want to keep them, what I feel about them overall, so on and so forth. So yeah, that's going to be more when I'm pulling from, but I'm also leaving it open to pulling whatever I want from my shelves at any time. So that's what that goal is for. Then I have read 5 specific new books. I do have those listed, and I want to just make sure I keep reading the books I get, books in the library, stuff like that. But I'm also leaving that open to whatever I want to read. So I'm not forcing myself, because last year I had like 12 books on the list. That was too many. So I'm just doing 5. It's a small amount. That way if I say pick up a series, I feel free to read the whole series in a year, so on and so forth. So yeah, that is that goal. Then I have read 5 specific ebooks and also at least 1 ebook a month. So I have over 200 ebooks on my Kindle. So I really want to get to, and I really want to get to them. So yeah, because I keep getting them and then I don't read them because I either forget about them, or for so long I was reading them on my phone and I just didn't do it. So I am currently, the way I'm reading right now, this may change by the time this video goes up, but the current way I'm reading them right now is that so far I've been reading like a physical, then an ebook, then a physical, then an ebook. That seems to be working so far. That's just for right now. I am in excessive mood everything these days, so this will probably, most likely, maybe change by the time you see this video. Yes, because that is my life, and I've just come to accept it. But yes, I do at least want to do that. I do want to at least try to read certain ones, and also just knock them out as much as I can, because sometimes when I read them I realize I just don't like them and then I get rid of them, so it decreases my ebook pile as well. Okay, I also want to try at least reading 2 new manga series. Manga has been hit or miss for me lately. I love the medium of it, and a lot of the stories I have read, as you can see behind me, I truly really love and enjoy, but finding them that I fit with is not easy. Yeah, so I'm still kind of trying to figure out what kind of manga I like, but I do have at least 2 different series I want to try this year, so I do have 2 specifically, but I'm also leaving myself open to trying whichever ones I want, so yeah. Okay, I also, as a more specific goal, I'm going to read more of Brittany Fisher's work and Nikki Chapelway's books, because I love both those authors, but I haven't read a lot of their books. Brittany's more than Nikki's, but I love both those authors, and I just want to read more of their works. So I just want to prioritize reading some of their books, like 1 a month or some, who knows what else, something like that. I just want to prioritize reading their books, say in particular, over maybe somebody else's. And I also want to finish some series I started. Like I said, I'm going to be making a video about all the series I have started or am like in the middle of and have not continued or need to continue and finish, and yeah, that's going to be a very revealing video, but yeah, I do want to do that, because some of them I have like 1 book left in the series and it's like, okay, I should just finish this, but you know, I haven't because I'm a mood reader again. So yeah. Okay, so on to the few specific books I want to either read, reread, so on and so forth. For specific new books, the only book that made it from 2023's list to 2024's list is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I do want to try to read this break. I got an idea of how to do so from when I was rereading The Lord of the Rings last year, of just like taking it slow and only doing a few pages at a time, because I like thick books, but even for me this is a little intimidating. It's also a mass market paperback. I don't know if you can tell, like when you put it next to this one. This is a normal size book, this one isn't, so it makes this one look a lot bigger too. And I mean, the font's not so bad, but yeah, I've never read Brandon Sanderson before. I really want to try some of it, and this is just currently one of the ones I own. I got this at a thrift store because my library only has 1 copy of this book, of the first book of the Stormlight Archive series, and it's constantly being checked out, and I'm just like, I have to read this in 4 weeks. So when I saw this at Goodwill, I was just like, yes, I'll buy it. I don't care if I end up not liking it, it's fine. At least I can at least read it without worrying about a library due date over my head. But yeah, so this one I do definitely want to prioritize this year. But yeah, we'll see. Okay, one of the other books I want to try as well that I also own is World Diver. This by Haley Hansen. This one I bought last year on a very much a whim. I bought the whole trilogy because the publishing house that this was being published under was closing down. I didn't know if the author was going to republish them as self-published, so I grabbed these on a whim. I generally do not do that when I buy books. I either have read them first, or I try to vet them through like ebooks or my library or something. So yeah, this was kind of a risk, but I'm very interested in it. It's like a sci-fi, I think. I don't know if it's Christian or not. It's at least clean, I know that much. At least it's supposed to be. But it's like sci-fi, fantasy, like deals with a multiverse. I'm very interested in this series, so yeah, this one definitely is on the list. Also, I would also like to read Rook to Goo by, I may have forgot the authors, Jenny Sauer. I actually don't know how to say the author's last name, but this book here, it's like a sci-fi retelling of Cinderella. I read a book by this author last year, it was Wait Until Tomorrow. I really liked it. That was just a novella. This is a novel of like the first one in her series. She published the second book that came out last year. And yeah, I just really want to get to it and try it. I will have to purchase this book though, so yeah, but I really like the cover. Okay, another one I want to try is The Screaming Staircase. I do not remember the author's name, but you'll see it here on the screen because I'm going to show a picture of it. It's a, I forget even what is the series called? Anyways, it's a middle grade series. It deals with like kids are the only ones who can see ghosts, and they're like trying to rid London of ghosts or something like that. I don't know. It's a series. I've seen it around. I think it got adapted as a TV series, I believe, I think it was Netflix, something like that. But it was adapted to a TV series last year. But I was interested in it beforehand because I'd heard a couple people on blogs and stuff talking about it, and I don't know, it fascinates me. So I really want to try that one. Another one, and the last one, the new books that I want to try is Wolf by Wolf by Ryan. I don't remember the author's last name or even how to say it, so but you'll see it here on the cover. This is like a World War II alternate history with like a magical element, because I think the main character, she's like a motorcycle racer, but she can shapeshift into a wolf. And yeah, so this is kind of like the idea of like, what if Hitler won World War II and this is what the world would look like. It's a duology. I've heard nothing but great things about this story. Chantel, especially from Chantel Reads All Day, has talked about this book quite a bit. So yeah, I'm really interested in this one, and my library has it. So yeah, I definitely want to try this one. Okay, for my specific rereads that I want to try, I only have two on here, and one of them is carryover from last year, and that is the Ilion Chronicles by Jael Knight. I still have not been in the mood to reread these books, and I do not know why. I was briefly in the mood, like one day, and then I got out of it. My mood is insane these days. But yes, I do want to reread the series, especially because I still have not read the last book, which is Dyken's Heir. So... But I have figured out with how big these novels are, I can read one a month, and then I'd be done with the series in 6 months. I mean, I'm pretty sure once I start reading these, unless my mood switches again, I would want to keep reading them anyways. So yeah, but I definitely want to try to reread this series, and also read Dyken's Heir for the first time. And the only other series I want to try to reread this year is Yona the Dawn. This is a manga series. It's my favorite manga series, and I just definitely got the sense of when I was reading volumes 39 and 40 at the end of 2023, I just really got the urge. I just really wanted to reread this series and experience this whole story again. Yeah, I just really love this story, and it's a really long series. It's still ongoing, though. I have heard we are in our final arc of the manga, which is both really exciting but also really sad, because that means it's coming to a close. I don't know how many more volumes it's going to take for it to close, but yeah, volume 41 doesn't come out until May, and I don't know at this point if it would be better to wait till 42 also comes out or not to read it. I don't know at this point in time, but yeah, I definitely want to reread the series and just like experience the whole thing again. So yeah, besides, I haven't reread them fully since I read them the first time like 2 or 3 years ago now, but yeah, I really enjoy these. So yeah, and since it's such a long series, I've calculated with the 40 volumes that I have, you can read 3 a month. But yeah, most likely I'll end up reading more because I adore the series. But yeah, I really, really like the series, and I'd really like to experience it again. Okay, now the specific manga I want to try, technically I only said I wanted to try 2 series this year, but also I threw on a single because I've been super curious about this manga ever since I read it, and that is Shelter of Wings. I think it was supposed to be a series because it does have a number 1 on the cover, but it's never been published beyond 1. I don't actually know if it works as a standalone or not, but I still want to try it regardless, and that it's a Christian manga. It's a Christian self-published manga, so about like spiritual warfare. I think this girl in high school gets caught up in some kind of spiritual warfare thing, and then her guardian angel has to like protect her from it or something. I don't know. It sounds really neat. I want to try it. It's been on my list to try for forever, so yeah, I definitely want to try that one. Also, a specific manga series I want to try. This is all fault of my friend Laura. She has been hyping both of these series I'm going to mention so much that I desperately want to try them. One of them I have started the prequel of, it's kind of like the prequel 3 volumes that before the start of the series, but anyways, the very first one I would try is actually a manhwa. I hope I said that right. And that is Villains Are Destined to Die. I wasn't super sold on this at first. I think it started coming out last year, or the end of 2022. I forget when it started actually coming out, but I wasn't super sold on this at first. But Laura has talked about it so much, and she loves it. There's like 5 or 6 volumes out now, or something like that. But yeah, it's like what do they call it? It's like a isekai villainous type manga. Excuse me, manhwa. So it's a Korean manhwa. So yeah, this would be my first manhwa. My library does have this series, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try it this year. And the covers look really cool. They're very intense, so I don't know. This could be up my alley because I tend to go for more intense things rather than light and fluffy. So this could be up my alley. So I want to try this one. And the other one where I mentioned I read like the first 3 like prequel volumes of this series, and that is Queen's Quality. This is a manga, and it like deals with like mental health, but with like a supernatural angle to do it. I read the first 3 volumes, which are called QQ Sweeper. They're kind of like a prequel, the beginning of the series, but for some reason, I guess the publisher switched or something, so they started calling it Queen's Quality. So technically, like, it's a continuation. Like, this one would technically be volume 4 of QQ Sweeper, but they changed it, which is fine because Queen's Quality is technically a better title, in my opinion. I don't even know what the first QQ is supposed to be for Sweeper. I have no idea. Unless it was supposed to be Queen's Quality, but Queen's Quality Sweeper, that makes no sense. But whatever. Regardless, I really liked those 3. So I definitely want to try this one. The only hiccup I have is my library does not have the first volume. So either I'd have to convince them to buy it, or I'd have to buy it myself. So, I don't know. This series is also ongoing. I think it's also in its final arc too. So, yeah, apparently I'm getting in on these series when they're starting to end. But, starting to end could take a while when they, translate them from Japanese and English. So, I digress though. But yes, definitely want to try those. My last 2 other things that I want to do for reading. I have some specific ebooks, but I also forgot other goal that I want to do is I want to participate in the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge posted by Chantel from Chantel Reads All Day. I've never actually participated before, but I like the way this one looks this year, and also I just really want to try it, and I also want to use it to read books that I own, whether they're rereads, physical new reads, or ebooks. I definitely want to use her challenge to try to weed some of those out. So yeah, I definitely want to participate in that. Now back to the specific books. I have the last list of that is I have 5 specific ebooks I want to try. The first one is Stolen Midsummer Bride by Tara Grace. This is like I think it's a retelling of Midsummer Night's Dream. I think that's it. It's a Shakespeare play. I'm pretty sure that's the one. I would assume so from the title. But yeah, I definitely want to try that one. I really like Tara Grace, Trisha Mangrink's work, because Tara Grace is a pen name, but for her, anyways. But yeah, I definitely want to try this one. The next one I have is The Reluctant Godfather by Alison Tebow. I've heard nothing but fantastic things about this little book, and I got the ebook on sale last year, so I definitely want to try it and see what this Reluctant Godfather who likes to bake is all about. And the other one is Truth by Molly Evangeline, which is a pen name for J.L. Knight. This is the first of her young adult trilogy. I think it's, how do you pronounce her name? McKillian? I don't know how to pronounce the main character's name, which is a problem because that's the series name. But, yeah, I got the ebook last year on sale because for some bizarre reason there were like issues with like the paperback going on and off sale on Amazon. It was really odd. But, I got the ebook, so in case like they stopped selling it for good. But yeah, I definitely want to try it. It's Christian fantasy. So yeah, I've heard it's very similar to like kind of Lord of the Rings sort of, so I'm very curious. Also, I just kind of want to read everything J.L. Knight wrote, even under her pen name, so it's a first step in that direction. Okay, and then the next one is A Fair Account of the Traitor Snow White and Rose Red. I believe it's by S.E. Page. You guys can correct me because you'll be seeing the cover. I am not. But at least until I edit. But yeah, this book, I heard about it from a friend who read it, and she reviewed it on her blog a long time ago, and I've never been able to get it out of my head. It's a retelling of the Grimm's fairy tale Snow White and Rose Red. I don't know anything beyond that. It's like one sister went missing, the other one is still in the palace, but they both become traitors somehow, obviously, according to the title. I'm very interested because I have no idea. Okay, and the last one on the ebook list that I want to try to read is Run from the Dead. It's a very interesting tonal switch. This is a short story collection about like zombie apocalypse stuff. Because yes, I am still bizarrely fascinated by that, even though I would never like watch or read a zombie or watch a zombie apocalypse movie or anything. I do not know. Do not try to go through my brain because I don't understand either. Also, a friend of mine, she wrote a story that is in this, so that is also a big reason why I'm interested in this anthology, because her story may be the only one I end up liking. So, but yeah, those are all my reading goals. So let's just quickly go over the writing goals that I have, because there's really not that many, like I said previously. So for my writing goals, I want to finish editing book 1 of my Creaturely Chronicles trilogy. I meant to do this last year, but I really got derailed in the middle of, I think it was like July. I barely finished one of the other chapters. It took me like 3 months to finish one chapter. It was ridiculous, the weird headspace I got into around then. So, I never finished, even though I'm on chapter 40 out of 56. So, I'm near the end. So, it shouldn't take much to finish it, but yeah, I didn't finish it last year. So, yes, I do definitely want to do that. This year, though, I also want to finish the rough draft for Creaturely Chronicles' 3rd and final book. So, that book, as you all have known, probably from the beginning of this YouTube journey, I have been having so many struggles with that book, but it is writing really well. At least at the time of filming this video, it is writing really well. I am restarting it again. I'm going over the whole thing, and it's actually going pretty well. I'm taking it slow. I'm not pushing myself in any way, and I'm just kind of letting the story flawed as it is. There's still some rough spots, but you know, it's a rough draft. It doesn't really matter how perfect it is at this point, because it's not going to be. So, but I would like to finish it this year. At least say I have a complete rough draft, even if I don't start editing it until like next year. I will say I have the book and it's there. So that is pretty much, those two are my main goals. I also want to write a short story for an anthology. I want to see if I can get it entered into another anthology, and we'll see about that. But that's if I can come up with an idea. I would also like to continue entering the writing contests through the Clean Fiction magazine. Again, only if I have an idea. If I don't get an idea from the prompts that they give, then I obviously won't write it. Yes, and also I want to keep playing around with my sci-fi series. It's kind of like at this point in time, it's kind of like a Star Wars knockoff right now. But yes, I still want to keep playing around with that because I keep getting random ideas throughout just wherever throughout my weeks or my days and stuff. I just get random ideas for it. None of them are in order, but yeah, it's just a fun series I'm picking away at that I think could be really cool to share with you guys one day. So yeah, but for now, it's just for fun that I pick away at. And yeah, that's it. Those are all my reading goals, my writing goals, my wrap up for 2023, what I'm going to be doing for 2024, at least theoretically. So yeah. Oh, the closing of these videos. I never know how to close them. Okay. So yeah, that is it. That is the video. Let's talk all the things down below. Feel free to share any of your goals if you would like to, whether reading, writing, or otherwise. And yeah, I will see you next time, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. I already said that. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will keep up with my video schedule this year. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, thanks again, guys. See you next time. Bye.